The final trial then is race number 8, the BOC HK Wealth Management Jockey Club Mile. Again, Group 2, headed by Beauty Only. Last year's winner, of course, of this race, Helene Paragon, a 2-time Group 1 winner last season. Beauty Generation, who's 2 out of 2 this season. Season's Bloom was runner-up behind Beauty Generation last time out. Giant Treasure behind Beauty Generation last time. Horse of Fortune was 4th in the Sarsar Ladies Purse. Western Express, the Panasonic Cup winner from last week. Winners way behind Beauty Generation, as was Jolly Banner. And Szechuan Da will find himself in a Group 2 company for the first time. Back at the touchscreen for this one, Brett. As far as the speed map is concerned, I assume that Beauty Generation, why try and fix something that's not broken, I suppose?
Correct, yeah. Look, he's been a real revelation, hasn't he, this season? Let's not forget he had form behind Jamaica as well in Australia and some other Group 1 winners before he came here. So he's probably just fulfilling his true potential. Great effort in the Derby behind Pakistan Star and, of course, Rapid Dragon. So he could be really, you know, a star on the rise. Now, Winner's Way likely to roll forward and probably sit outside of him. You wouldn't think he'd test. This is an interesting run here. Giant's Treasure trying to get him back into some form. Of course, he was placed in the mile against Abel Friend and Morris going back some time. A recent trial saw him lead on the all-weather, so you wonder whether they might roll him forward if they can get him out quick enough and try and maybe change the dynamic of the race. You've got a few others here, like Horse of Fortune with a good barrier draw, might try and be a little bit handy. And also Jolly Banner as well could be pushing in here. Beauty Only's going to get back, as is Helene Paragon, you would think. And Season's Bloom from barrier 9. I wonder where Joe ends up. Does he end up right back here, or does he perhaps push forward a little bit and maybe try and get in between Giant Treasure and potentially Jolly Banner? It's a little bit awkward, the draw from 9 for him. All right, so the final trial, Paul, what have they been doing in the mornings?
Yeah, some of them have been working pretty well. I thought Beauty Only's really picked up. He's working here with Winner's Way. And you can see he's really not a really good piece from Beauty Only. It's probably the best I've seen from him all season. So he was a little bit disappointing last time, but he's definitely picked up. Here's Helene Paragon working with Let Us Win. Helene Paragon, obviously the one we're looking at here. Tommy Berry's got him going along nicely enough, not really being majorly pushed out, but the horse is working well enough into this. And here's Joyful Trinity. He's going nice as well, working with Rocketeer, who obviously is going to be racing in a different race as Rocketeer. And Joyful Trinity, I thought, wasn't a bad piece as well.
Been working well coming into that last run as well, wasn't he? Joyful Trinity, of course, trained by John Moore. That's where we'll start on his 3 runners.
In the Jockey Club Mile, John, you've got 3 runners, starting off with Helene Paragon. You mentioned before he's a horse that needs a couple of runs to get going. How fit have you got him going into Sunday?
Well, Tommy got off the other day and said he's fit as you want him for this race, but I just have a little tendency to think that whatever he does in this, the grand final day will be his best. He's drawn okay. He's going to get the gun run where, and Tommy knows him now since we took the cross noseband off, not to make his run too early, because when he last rode him, he did, and he got off and he said, I should have won had I known with the cross noseband off, you know, how long his run would be. But going into the race again, slightly underdone, because there was a setback in the last season with a hindquarter injury that we had to get right, muscle injury, and that is being got right now. And I think he'll still be one of the horses to beat in the race. But whatever he does on Sunday, on Sunday, he'll improve on.
Joyful Trinity's had a run under the belt.
He had a hindquarter injury. He's been off the track, from early in the year, and from that for that reason, he would definitely improve. Improvement fitness-wise for the grand final. So yeah, I've got a few going in that we're going to have peaking on the right day, but going in on on Sunday, if they did get beat, as long as they run really well, I'll be a happy camper.
Has Beauty Generation surprised you with what he's done this season?
Yeah, he has. He's acclimatised. He's just settled into the environment so well, and little bit different training, different programming, different riding tactics, and it's all paid dividends. So what he's done has been exceptional. And going into this race, Tommy galloped him yesterday, and he said, this is the horse to beat. He thought, he said to me, I might be on the wrong horse because the work was exemplary yesterday. So of the pick of mine in the mile, I think Beauty Generation would be the pick.
There you go, Beauty Generation. Probably a good place to start then with the Sha Tin Trophy, that's last up effort. And, well, there's a whole host of them coming out of this Beauty Generation. I think 7, in actual fact, in the field here. He's out in front in the pink blinkers. The chasing pack are going to be better off at the weights now as well. We got Giant Treasure, we got Jolly Banner, who we got Western Express in here, Joyful Trinity, we got Helene Paragon, Beauty Only. Who have I missed?
I think you've covered it pretty well there. Winner's Way up the front.
Winner's Way down on the
well.
rail as well, yeah, of course, out in front as well. So, can he do it again, I suppose?
I think he can, Andrew. I think the interesting runner, and John mentioned it there in the interview, Helene Paragon, he's had a little bit of a setback. When we looked at the speed map, I sort of had him back towards the tail, but he has drawn 5. I wonder whether they might try and utilise that good barrier and have him a little bit handy. That's what John said in the interview. He said he should be handy, so he could potentially be a little closer. We were speaking about Werther earlier on and what a good run this was, how horses weren't able to really make a solid amount of ground from the back. Well, he sort of matched it with Werther there, so he might be sort of a little bit behind the ball with regards to his sort of fitness and so forth, but he's a quality galloper, Helene Paragon, and if he sits sort of leaders back or even 3 back the fence, he could be an interesting runner from there.
I've got him on the line, Helene Paragon, and same with Beauty Generation. I mean, he's doing everything right, and you know, 2 starts, 2 wins. You can't ask for more than that.
No, 2 rides to it. Long as had for John Moore this season, he's won on them both. This is Horse of Fortune then in the ladies' purse. It was a pretty good effort from him. The other one being Circuit Land in the green jacket out wide here. I
like Horse of Fortune because with the track record that was run. He had the big weight, and he still stayed on really nicely. Now he meets these horses on sort of a level weights. He's been carrying over 130 pounds. He comes down to those weights, and he never gave it away. He's had 2 runs this season, and they've both been very, very good under big weights. And I really like him coming here from barrier 1 because I think he can sit just behind the pace, and he'll be 14, 15 to 1. So he's my long shot.
Fair enough too. He ran a great race in the Cup last year behind Morris. They ran a track record there in that race. Circuit Land and Lucky Years, both the 2 horses that have come back from Korea. I haven't been really taken with either of the 2. So particularly Circuit Land. Lucky Year earlier on in the day might run a better race, but I'm happy to leave Circuit Land out.
All right, I wonder if the mile might be the more open of the 3 trials. Paul, where have you gone?
Yeah, it looks that way. I really like that piece of track work from Beauty Only, so I'm going to put him on top. This is his opportunity. I think it's D-Day for him. So Beauty Only to beat Horse of Fortune. He'll be my long shot. Beauty Generation in for 3rd and Helene Paragon for 4th. And I'll be backing Horse of Fortune each way from barrier 1.
I'm going to go with Seasons Bloom. I keep looking back at that 4-year-old series form. Rapid Dragon, Pakistan Star, Beauty Generation was 3rd in the Derby, Seasons Bloom was 4th, but if you go back to the Classic Mile and the Classic Cup, it slightly favoured Seasons Bloom. So with the turn of acceleration to get over the top of Beauty Generation, I think Helene Paragon and Beauty Only, you know, they've got the score on the board. That's the reason they're carrying 128 with a Group 1 victory underneath their belt in the last sort of 10 to 11 months. And expect them to be sort of ripening as the big race comes.
Yeah, Seasons Bloom, the early favourite, though, $4.50. Right, there's a Jockey Club mile. Still 2 more races to go, plus all the best bets. That's up next.